Thank you very much. Please be seated. Remember to silence your cell phones if you have them. On the phone, we have Supervisors Radig and Taylor. Is that correct?
That's correct.
That is correct.
Thank you both for joining us. We have a full house. Item 1 is approval of the agenda. I'll move it. Second by Nelson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Passes 5-0. Items 2 through 7 constitute a consent agenda of routine action items to be considered by one motion. Items pass unanimously unless a separate vote is requested by a board member. Item 2 is approval of the minutes of the September 12th and September 14th meeting. Item 3 is approval of the claims. Item 4 from Human Resources is the approval of memorandum of personnel transactions, and B, the authorization to initiate the hiring process. Item 5 from the Deputy Commissioner of Elections is to receive the appointment of Steve Holtz as Hornick Council member to fill the vacancy left when Julia Byers resigned. Item 6 from the County Treasurer includes A, approved property tax refund request for parcel ending in 4024 in the amount of $814.30, and B, approved property tax refund request for parcel ending in 6007 in the amount of $1,100. And item 7 from Board Administration is approval of resolution approving a petition for suspension of taxes for initials CL. I'll move the consent agenda. Second by Nelson. Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Passes 5-0. Item 8 from Planning and Zoning, Mr. Daniel Priestley, includes for action A, receive the final staff report and the Zoning Commission's recommendation from their 9/11 meeting to approve the final plat of the Janet Heck subdivision, a minor subdivision of Woodbury County, Iowa.
Good evening, Supervisors. Dan Priestley, Zoning Coordinator. And yes, the Zoning Commission sends their recommendation to you for the approval of a one-lot minor subdivision that is just northeast of Say Lakes. The city was within 2 miles. They waived their extraterritorial review. This abuts 260th Street on the north side. And the commission has found that it meets all requirements and, of course, the access requirements of the county engineer.
Questions for Dan?
Is this to be like a building site or for a home or?
It's basically a one lot to split the existing house from the farm,
Okay.
basically.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. Okay. Sounds good.
Any questions on the phone?
Nothing.
None.
I'll move item 8A.
Second.
Second by Nelson. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed say nay. Passes 5-0. Item B is approval of resolution of the Janet Heck subdivision, a minor subdivision. I'll move it.
Second.
Second by Bittinger. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed say nay. Passes 5-0. Thank you. Item 9 from Planning and Zoning, again, for A, we have received final report on Zoning Commission recommendation to approve rezone from agricultural preservation to the agricultural estates zoning district on parcel ending in 0006, which is Lot 2 Boyles Addition for Richard and Kimberly Lucy.
Yes, this rezone procedure is for about an 18 or so acre parcel, and the purpose is to split a portion off in order to allow an additional house to be created in the area. The zoning ordinance does have a restriction to 2 houses per a quarter section, so that's the premise behind this particular rezone procedure. The zoning commission had a really good public hearing. We had questions there as far as the term rezone, as far as development, and we discussed the situation where could there be future development out there in the future. And when you're on Highway 20, a lot of times the DOT does control the access there. And in this situation, the property owner, before they brought the application to the county, checked with the DOT to see if they would be okay for using a shared driveway there to empower a second lot. Anything that would have more than one house would require future scrutiny. and future subdivision plat that would come through the normal process and order. So just wanted to mention that that was a focus as well at the zoning commission meeting. And yes, they do send their recommendation.
Questions?
Happy to see another home go up in the unincorporated areas of the county, so no further questions.
Any questions on the phone? Here.
No, I was there and I thought the process was followed really well. We had some public input on either side, so I'm supportive.
Anything else, Dan?
Again, this is the first of up to the 3 public hearings on this respective item for a rezone, just to add that for clarification as well.
I'd move it.
I'll second the motion by Nelson. Hearing no further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
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 Right.
Opposed say nay. Passes 5-0. We're a bit ahead of our 4:45 PM set time, which is item 9B on the same topic, so that's a public hearing. And then we have the approval of the reading. Is there anything we can add before the public hearing is opened, or have we discussed?
I don't have anything additional at this time to add
Okay.
to that item, so.
All right, we'll skip for now to item 10 for reports on committee meetings. Mr. Bittinger? Anything? Or Mr. Nelson?
Do you have anything?
I have none for this week.
I had Soil and Water Conservation Board meeting this morning. They have hired a new watershed tech, and they're very excited because this young man had been filling in part-time throughout much of this year when their other tech had some health issues. Very hardworking, very well-deserving guy, so they're very excited to get him out there and working. They've been kind of inundated with questions about repairs to some of the drainage structures in the county, who's responsible after so many years, who's responsible for some of the tree removal, upkeep, some of that stuff, and so they're gonna have a meeting in October to get some answers on some of that. Last week was the Woodbury County Conservation Board meeting on Thursday. Unfortunately, I was not able to attend as we were in that joint closed session. Thursday afternoon, I was able to get together with the Conservation Director, Dan Heisel, this weekend. There's kind of been a lot to report. They didn't have an August meeting. And so I'll just give you kind of a synopsis of some of the stuff that we talked about. So the engineering is about at 90% for the Little Sioux Park camping project. If you recall, we funded the Conservation Department to upgrade the sewer and some of the camping lots there at Little Sioux Park. They are on track to let bids this fall. In early spring, they're hoping to start construction at the Riverside Campground. They are also, so that's kind of item 1. They are looking at options with Iowa State University Geological, or excuse me, not Iowa State, sorry Keith, Iowa University Geological on the water level and the ongoing drought and the problems with the swim pond there at Little Sioux Park. I was with a meeting with Correctionville's mayor last week, and she was sure to point out that the economic impacts to Correctionville and to Anthon with fewer campers staying there this summer, and a large part of that was because the swim pond was closed. So they're gonna continue to see what they could do. Maybe pumping could be an option. The Browns Lake water level, they were able to maintain that through the season. It went down a little bit, but they were still able to maintain the water level to where folks could continue to swim. The Nature Center, we haven't had an update on that. If you can recall, the one wall was starting to slough away on the west side. Kenny's department is still working on that with engineers. They had done some, and I'd been out there and I've seen the problems a couple times. They're going to do radar on the floor and kind of see what some of the footings and stuff look like. Let's see, last thing, they voted to do a department head supervisor appreciation picnic again in October. And as they get more info on that, they will be sending it out. So that is the update from our parks, and I believe that's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Taylor, any updates?
Yes, I attended the Woodbury County 911 Service Board, and they have accrued a balance of $942,339. We're looking at some batteries for pagers and one-time funds that may be expended. Also looking at security for towers. Unfortunately, in this day and age, that continues to be something that look at nefarious actors and how to make sure that all of those towers are secure, especially if there's a homeland security or emergency disaster. The other item that was brought up for your situational awareness is that there is a review that the governor has initiated statewide to look at streamlining boards, whether it's cosmetology or any regulatory arm, and 911 Council is on that docket of review. This has come up in front of the legislature before. Mayor Bob Scott reached out to Barbara Sloniker, who we understand sits on a commission where she may have voting rights in terms of, is this a board that needs to be subsumed or consolidated? And in the past, their resistance has been that sometimes that takes away the local control authority and subsequently the funding. So that's something that the 911 Service Board would resist, and that's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Radig, any committee meeting reports?
Sure had a Simcoe meeting that we had in the morning, and then followed it up with a Simcoe Certs meeting with the drivers at the new location. Got to tour the new facility. Boy, what a stark difference in following a construction timetable and everything out of that building there. It was open ahead of schedule, and ended up all the change orders were more negative, so ended up kind of under the inflated COVID budget, and that was kind of nice to have everything kind of go right over there on that site, because we haven't had that on our other project. So but yeah, it was great to tour that new facility and have the drivers have the first meeting there, and even better, I guess there's free food there too. So that's all I got.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Mr. Vice Chairman.
I just want to weigh in as someone who has a family member, my dad, who is a driver. They collectively, I believe, are very appreciative, Supervisor Radig, of not only your attendance for their open house, but also listening to any concerns that they have and feeling like they have a voice. And so just wanted to telephonically share that appreciation for your attendance and being in touch and in good communication with them.
I appreciate that, and of course, as far as CERTS as an organization goes, without drivers, there is no CERTS. So really, they're the first end customer service. They're there with the passengers of the buses, or the for any of those that are disabled and need help getting on the buses. They're the ones helping them, and they're that first line of customer service. And you just want to let them know that you hear them and you appreciate what they do, because it's not necessarily the easiest job you can do with the CDL, and they're a front line for people that need a ride to the hospital and everything. So it's just great to let them know they're appreciated too.
Yeah, thank you.
Very good. Mr. Radig, any other reports?
That's all I got.
All right, thank you. We're at our 4:45 p.m. set time, which is item 9B. This is a public hearing on a zoning ordinance map amendment to rezone parcel ending in 0006 from AP to AE. The public hearing is now open for anyone wishing to speak for or against this item. Please state your name and address and your statement, please.
Rich and Kim Lucy, 2480 Highway 20, Lawton. Again, we're asking to split off a small portion of our current 18 acres to build a future house.
Very good. Thank you. Hearing no other public comments, I'll move the public hearing be closed.
Second?
Second by Nelson. Hearing no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed say nay. Passes 5-0. Item C is to approve the first reading of the ordinance. Discussed previously, I'll move it. Second by Bittinger.
Second.
Any, you missed that one, Mr. Raddick. Just missed it. All those in favor, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed say nay. Passes 5-0. Back on item 10, reports on committee meetings, just myself left, I think. On the heels of the Authority Board of Supervisors closed session, I just wanted to note that I woke up and decided the next morning to go into the fray and call into KSCJ radio and give an update, answer some questions that I could. I appreciate KSCJ having me on. It's about a 30-minute segment that's recorded and posted on my Facebook page if anyone would like to view it. And I only say that because it's not posted anywhere else, and KSCJ doesn't make those recordings publicly available unless you ask for them. So I do think it would be helpful for the community and anyone seeking more information that can't be shared in a short agenda item like this. And on that note as well, I want the board to be aware that next week, if possible, I'll have a consent agenda item to engage with the law firm representing, one of the law firms representing the LEC Authority. I've made that request to that law firm, and I think in addition to having a closed session, having the similar legal counsel and as co-counsel in Woodbury County's case to the county attorney, shows that we're working together as much as possible. So I just wanted to mention to look out for that agenda item next week on the consent agenda. Item 11 is citizen concerns. Anyone to speak? I see a lot of black chairs and white chairs. Hearing none. Item 12 is board concerns. Any board concerns? I'm concerned who put these mint patties up here. I want to know, I want to file a request to see if that can be publicly disclosed. We've had Dennis test one. He's okay. So I think,
I tested mine. I'm still here.
I
okay.
did too, yeah.
I think they're okay. So,
Maybe next week we can have some
So
sour patch.
I had a concern to bring up, if that's, I actually have two.
okay.
And of course, one of them is concerning a conversation I did have with you. You did follow up and have a phone call with Doug Phillips. That was correct, right?
Yes.
And because of an attorney-client privilege, he's not able to necessarily disclose a content of emails that he's been a part of. So that proposes a challenge for the board as to how those will be taken care of. So I don't know if we reach out to James and find out how we actually fulfill those, or do we do like PJ had done before and allow the requesting party to have access and search them themselves? So that's concern one. Concern two is, we've had discussions which I think have been really good with the LEC Authority. And I do think as a board it would also be beneficial to include the City Council in maybe discussions of what kind of role we expect the LEC Authority to pursue in the future. Because we have seen that they had a campus plan, they proposed a building for Kenny, they've talked with people about a mental health building, and I don't think any of those things are necessarily the authority's job. And I kind of feel like if we're going to do a future expansion on the jail, that should be the county's decision, not the LEC authorities. I would like to see us discuss what kind of limits or expectations we have for the LEC authority moving forward. And I would also kind of like to discuss the maintenance fund. And I know Jeremy's brought that up, and I know he's on the call here and can probably hear this, but you know, if we're talking an $8 million maintenance fund on a $50 million building, we probably could have just paid off the bond and moved on instead. So, I mean, when you think about 8 million of the 50 million, you're talking like 18% of the total bond amount. So I think we should have that discussion. And, you know, if Matthew, you're the board chair, you call the meetings, so I don't know if that would be something you could reach out to the mayor or the city manager's office to bring up a desire to discuss it. Personally, I would like to see us move forward with that.
Okay, I'll talk to you afterwards.
I have one concern as a follow-on as well.
Yes.
So, and this isn't a response. I was planning on bringing this up as well, but I would like to see the County Board of Supervisors engage in an open meeting with the City Council of the City of Sioux City, absent the LEC authority, because I think that these two boards gave life and license, so to speak, to this authority that, and Mr. Chairman, I was very appreciative that you went on. That's not always an easy thing to do, to publicly put yourselves in the firing line, so to speak. But one of the callers said, well, we elected you. We didn't elect an authority. And you can potentially have a majority that's not elected with what's proposed right now to be in charge of millions and millions of dollars that I really don't believe the public, you'd ask 99% of people, did you realize that they have millions of dollars at their disposal without the votes or accountability of the Board of Supervisors nor the City Council? I think people would be even more upset than they already are right now. And I do not believe that information has been shared publicly, the necessity for maintenance funds, nor do I believe that even the current authority members know with a lot of detail what those details are, except secondhand kind of repeating what some others have said. So I think that would be a very, very wise thing if we're going to have safeguards and controls. So thank you very much.
Okay. Any other board concerns?
My only concern or request is there any way for the supervisors to go out and see the project, the LSC project? Is there any way we can bypass the OSHA rules, or what? How can we get out there and see the buildings? Do we have to go through that 8-hour training? I would like to put eyes on the building myself and see it, see where they're at. So that's my request. So I don't know what's the right route to do that. So that's the only thing that I have concern.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, I believe what the rules are a 10-hour OSHA training and then a safety training from Houseman, which I think is maybe just a video of some kind. But what it takes to get that 10-hour OSHA, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Supervisor Nelson, can I ask you one question in response?
Yes.
So is that something that you've been able to get done in terms of the 10-hour training?
I have not yet. No,
Okay. Have you been able to get out there by chance?
not yet. No.
Okay. So assuming that that's going to be a requirement of you, if you can just kind of back brief us if it actually takes 10 hours, and then also with your fellow members, that I think one of the heartburns for people has been they've taken it and then the answer's still been no.
Mm-hmm.
So if the answer is still no, then I'd like to save Supervisor Bittinger or Pastor Bittinger's time in terms of taking it and then having it all be for naught. And so I just think that the kind of transparency to say, as Shane Albrecht told me before, we would not allow you to go out there. So I just think it's not only the right thing to do, but just kind of a common courtesy thing. If it's not going to be, then not waste everybody's time and just say, we're not going to allow you out here, no matter how much training you do. So if you're able to make that a request for information for the board, that would certainly be helpful.
For sure.
All right, any other board concerns? Dennis?
September 28th is the chamber dinner. We have 2 tables. Right now, all we have is 10 people going. We have a full table. What would you like to do with it? Do you want to open to all county employees so we can fill that table, or do you want to leave it empty?
Personally, I think we authorized up to as reserved by county officials, so if we have a full table unused, then I think we pay for one, but,
We've already paid for them.
right. Oh,
Yeah, we've
you've
already paid
transferred the
2,000,
funds
yeah.
for 2, okay.
Yeah. So we got them sitting there. Somebody ought to use them, I guess.
Okay, well, this isn't, I don't know if it's a question for a board meeting, but we'll,
I don't know.
yeah, we'll do what we can to fill those. Who is going to that? I'm going.
I'm going.
I'm going.
Okay, so we do need a notice of gathering, Karen. Any other notices of gathering to be aware of the next week or two?
Not to my knowledge of. That
Okay.
comes to mind.
All right, Dennis, any other concerns?
No, I'll wait till we talk about this maintenance, things like that. There are some legal problems.
Okay. Any other board concerns?